Where's Ross from Ripple? Hey, come on down. You guys have been in the news lately. Has anyone heard of what happened with Ripple? Hands up. A few of you. We're going to get the lowdown. So I guess we emailed each other what we were going to kind of talk about and stuff. But feel free to tell us more about what you do over there and just what's the latest and greatest.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mark. It's actually is my first occasion to visit the DeFi Association meetup. So thank you for inviting me. And I'm super excited about an exuberant room. And it was great to see Alison before this. I commented to someone today as to how much New Zealand were present in today's digital asset conference. It was amazing. Every second person who stood up was from New Zealand, it seemed. So I'm very impressed. I was not expecting that. So I'm Ross Edwards from Ripple. For those of you who don't know Ripple, we are a leader in the enterprise blockchain and crypto solution space. We work with financial institutions predominantly, but other, the community and corporates as well on how to move, manage, and tokenize value. And we've been doing that since 2012. So we just passed 10 years at the end of last year. In terms of our market, our predominant enterprise market is a product called Ripplenet, which is a cross-border payments product that we work with many financial institutions around the world to facilitate instant, low capital transfers and payments across borders around the world. We have Ripplenet customers in over, I think, 55 countries. And to give you some idea, it started off as a fiat-based rail, so an alternative to Swift, if you like. Some of you may remember back in the sort of 2016, 17 years, it was sort of like Ripple and Swift. In truth, we don't compete with Swift that much because we're more looking at lower value, higher velocity payment use cases that really aren't using Swift as an alternative anyway. It started off as those fiat rails. We then added in a plug-in called on-demand liquidity that settles cross-border through digital assets and specifically XRP. And so where previously I could use Ripplenet, I have a funded position with, say, a bank or another entity in Philippines, and I can draw down upon that using instant pricing and instant settlement. What I can do with ODL is I don't even need to hold a US dollar or a Filipino peso position. I simply use XRP that we facilitate the transfer of. It gets liquidated in the Philippines market within 10 seconds, and the payout is funded. And so this network has now transferred, I think, over $30 billion across 20 million transactions so far, and continues to expand. In terms of Ripple Australia, I don't know if it's well known, but Sydney was actually the first international office or office outside the US for Ripple. So we opened up in mid-2015 before we realized that running a global business from Sydney is extremely difficult. We were managing the entirety of Asia, South Asia and Middle East, and waking up to 6 a.m. calls with San Francisco, it's a pretty tough gig. We are also, and not many people would know this either, the first company to sign up with Stone and Chalk here and have been here since day one. We're now up to 6 people, which is a huge improvement because we were down to 2 people 9 months ago, and you know how 2-people offices are a bit awkward, so it's great to get a few more people in. And predominantly here we're facilitating working with customers. Myself, I opened the office with many of you may know Dilip Rao, who's now running the DFCRC CBDC program. So we opened the Sydney office. He used to work for Ripple. Don't worry, he left on very good terms. We're still great mates. And I worked across our payments business for some time, and I now lead all of our solutions and delivery across CBDCs. So I specifically wanted to talk probably about 3 topics that are top of mind, 2 being very recent and important, and 1 being CBDCs, because that's what I know and love, of course. The first one, a few of you may have noticed Ripple in the news recently around our ongoing relationship with the SEC, which has had its ups, but mostly downs. For those of you who don't know, SEC filed a lawsuit against Ripple and some of our executives in December 2020. And I think it was a couple of days before Christmas. So I thought that really started off the tone. I think it was, the 22nd or something like that. Alleging that we were violating securities laws for sales of XRP. And for those who don't know, Ripple utilizes the open source public network XRP ledger and its native asset XRP extensively in our products. I think 2 weeks ago, or a little under 2 weeks ago, the judge, so this has taken 2.5 years, so for any lawyers in the room, it's been a wonderful experience. It's been hugely expensive, but the judge handed down an initial ruling that has been a milestone moment for Ripple, and I think more importantly, the broader crypto industry, particularly in the US. And the major finding out of that ruling is that XRP as a token in and of itself is not a security. Now, this is extremely important. There's a lot of talk of, so first of all, I should highlight that some of that ruling was that some institutional sales that Ripple made was determined to be a security, and that's an ongoing matter that we're dealing with the courts and SEC. But the fact that XRP as a token in and of itself is not a security is now law in the US. As of now. And this gives us huge clarity. And you can imagine there's been great celebration and relief to some degree within Ripple on that. But I think what's been most impressive is the number of people from the industry globally that has reached out and been excited about that. And actions such as many US exchanges, such as Coinbase, relisted XRP within hours after this ruling was handed down by the judge. So it shows the importance of this to the whole industry, not just to Ripple. And from a Ripple perspective, I think first things first, it enables a lot of our executive team to free up a little bit more focus and time, I hope. As you can imagine, it's been hard to get the attention, particularly of Brad, our CEO, and our head of legal over the last couple of years. And hopefully they can focus more on expansion, on our business, rather than the focus of this court case. And secondly, it provides more clarity for us, partners and customers, and our operations and business around the US. And importantly, that doesn't mean it's carte blanche, we can do what we want, but it gives us more clarity of what we can do, what we can't do. We're certainly listening on the institutional sales side of the business as well, and need to ensure that we fall in line with that. The second topic I wanted to talk about is we made a recent acquisition of a company called Medico. Some of you may have heard of them. They're a Swiss-based custody or crypto custody or digital asset custody infrastructure company. And we acquired them, which, for a significant deal. I mean, one of the largest deals, particularly in this space, that has been seen in during this bear market in particular. I think we're very fortunate to be in a position to be able to acquire a company like Medico, but I think most importantly, it highlights the importance to us of custody within this space, within our solutions, and across the industry. And there was a lot of talk about this at the Digital Asset Conference, and it is a hot topic at the moment. It all starts with custody. If you can't custody your assets, you can't do anything with them reliably. Importantly, we brought in Medico to be able to strengthen our offerings in the market. Ripplenet and ODL that I just spoke of. Liquidity Hub that is a management solution for acquiring and disposing of crypto and crypto assets and stable coins in the market. And Medico can plug into that and strengthen those offerings in the market. But we also want to make sure we continue to offer this as a infrastructure service into the market as well. And Medico is continuing on as a brand in the market, and we're hoping to be able to help expand on that, which I think, together with the other custody offerings in the market will really strengthen the entire industry. The last topic I wanted to touch on is CBDCs, mainly because that's my topic, my space that I work in. we at Ripple believe that the sovereignty of money will only increase, and that the globalization and digitalization of the world will need blockchain and DLT in the form of CBDCs to help make that sovereign money effective. It doesn't mean sovereign money is going to be the only type of value or money in the world, but it will be critically important, specifically for domestic markets, and it needs to work together. There's been a lot of talk of why CBDCs are required, and it's different for different countries. We offer the market, we've developed over the last couple of years, what's called the Ripple CBDC platform, which uses the open source XRP ledger technology, as well as wrapped in enterprise products for the management end-to-end of CBDCs and regulated stablecoins. We're working with numerous central banks, other government bodies, as well as some commercial banks on issuing these coins in many, many different ways for many different purposes. The question of why on the CBDC side and the use case question is growing, particularly if you look at Europe. We work with different types of nations. Some of them are certainly developing and can use the effective and efficient payment rails that CBDC can bring. As an example, we've been working with the nation of Palau. I think, who knows where Palau is? Oh, I see 3 people. I didn't know where Palau is. Brisbane people should know where Palau is because there's a flight from Brisbane to Papua New Guinea to Palau. It is east of Guam, which is east of Philippines. And they are very challenged through the predominant use of cash and the reliance on two US banks in the market. Literally at 9 a.m. on a Monday, you go into town in Palau and there'll be queues of people at the ATMs to withdraw cash for the day or for the week. It's a massive problem, and it really does affect the quality of life there. We've been working with them on a stablecoin pilot, a government-issued stablecoin pilot, USD, that launched, or the initial low-level launch early last week. This is being issued to government employees who are able to spend this at merchants on the island to demonstrate those capabilities, and they will continue to grow and scale that pilot. The second one that I wanted to just highlight is we are participating, for another example, in the HKMA, I've been told to call it the hypothetical e-Hong Kong dollar project. HKMA are very specific about not calling it e-Hong Kong dollar by itself. And this is a much more advanced use case. This is not a use case where you can go to a real money pilot easily. We're tokenizing real estate, so Hong Kong real estate. We're using an on-chain lending protocol that will enable secondary, what's called equity release loans in the market to be able to utilize that capital that will be dispersed and repaid using CBDC within an ecosystem. And this all happens instantaneously. We're working directly with Fubon Bank Hong Kong on that project, and I think it's part of, I think there are, I don't know, there might also, I'm thinking 14 projects in Hong Kong, but that may just be the RBA, the FCRC one, but there's somewhere in the order of that. So it gives you some examples of what we're doing. It varies all the way from countries who want to go to pilot and hopefully eventually go to production based on what I'll call simple or efficient and effective payment solution use cases. And we're working with many or several other central banks on more advanced use cases in real estate tokenization space. We're working with some in cross-border liquidity markets using both order book and AMM type markets as well. That all comes together. So there's a lot happening in the CBDC space. I think it is the future, or a key part of the future, and I think will be a key part of bringing seriousness and institutions to the DeFi space. That's about it for me. So
Fantastic.
I think there's
And
more
just
interesting speakers coming up.
pretty damn good in terms of timing. You definitely haven't taken a leaf out of the Arturo book of not, strictly going to time. But no, everybody thank me in having Ross here from Ripple. Thank you.
Thank you. I should say we're just upstairs, and feel free to reach out on LinkedIn or any other way.
Absolutely.
Always keen to speak to locals. Yeah,
We're doing networking after this, so there's definitely opportunities to speak more to Ross. So thank you very much.